Hi everyone, hopefully you had a nice weekend and were nice to your mums. Just like Miss Frizzle's class is learning more about ocean life, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start a new book with Miss Frizzle's class being the main characters, The Great Shark Escape. We're going to learn some more about animals that live in the water. Are you ready? In the last book, Wanda was the narrator. In this one, it's another member of Miss Frizzle's class, Arnold. Here's the introduction. Hi, my name is Arnold. I am one of the kids in Miss Frizzle's class. Maybe you've heard of Miss Frizzle. Sometimes we just call her the Frizz. She is a terrific teacher, but strange. One of her favorite subjects is science, and she knows everything about it. She takes us on lots of field trips in the Magic School Bus. Believe me, it's not called Magic for nothing. We never know what's going to happen when we get on that bus. Miss Frizzle likes to surprise us, but we can usually tell when she's planning a special lesson. We just look at what she's wearing. One day, Miss Frizzle wore this outfit to school. I didn't think too much about it until I spotted the sharks. That's when I got really worried. Miss Frizzle must have noticed because she promised that the field trip she had planned was the ordinary kind. Do you believe that? Well, let me tell you what happened. Chapter 1. I want to do killer whales, Tim said. I'm thinking about doing squids and octopuses, Wanda said. We were talking about our science reports. Our class was studying ocean life, and everyone had to pick a topic for a report. Little did we know how we'd be doing our research. We're going to be asking you to do a report too on ocean life, so be thinking about what you want to report on. Your lessons won't be as exciting as this, but pretend. Mine is going to be about sharks, put in Carlos. What about you, Arnold? Sea animals make me nervous, especially sharks, I said. I think I'm going to do some kind of plant, like kelp. It's like seaweed. Keisha giggled. Kelp, she said. Don't you think that sounds kind of boring? I nodded and smiled. Kelp did sound kind of boring. That's exactly what I liked about it. Miss Frizzle is a great teacher, but I wouldn't mind if once in a while her science lessons weren't always so exciting. Sorry, Arnold, said Tim, but Miss Frizzle said our reports are supposed to be about ocean animals. Remember? Unfortunately, Tim was right. Ugh, I groaned. I'd really been planning to do my report on kelp. Now I have to find a non-scary ocean animal to write about. But naturally, Miss Frizzle knew just how to help us pick our topics. The adventure began when the Frizz walked in wearing a dress covered with all kinds of ocean life. Good morning, everyone, she said. As you know, we're in the middle of our unit on ocean animals. It's time for each of you to choose an animal as the topic of your report. What better way to pick than by seeing some of them with your own eyes? Yay, a field trip, Keisha said. Oh no, not the bus, I moaned. I thought I said it to myself, but Miss Frizzle must have heard me. Don't worry, Arnold, she said. We're only taking the bus as far as the ocean. What are we going to do then? Dorothy Ann asked. Are we going scuba diving? Asked Tim. I hope we're going scuba diving. We'd better not be going scuba diving, I mumbled. Sorry, Tim. I'm afraid that's not in the plan, but we are going to an aquarium right by the ocean, said Miss Frizzle. Cool, yelled Carlos. I can hardly wait. This is going to be great, I said. An aquarium sounded neat, not to mention very safe. All the animals would be in tanks, and we would have to get off the bus, so nothing weird would happen. I don't know, said Wanda, looking at a bunch of fish in a big tank. Doesn't sound as exciting as most of our field trips. Miss Frizzle told Wanda not to worry. The aquarium has lots more than just fish. After all, the ocean contains about 1 million species of plants and animals. She pulled some thick booklets from her desk drawer. The director of the aquarium sent these brochures to you. They have oceans of information about underwater life. Here's a page from the brochure, from the Blue Waters Aquarium's ocean brochure. Oceans cover 3/4 of the Earth's surface. Let me show you what that means. Here's a map of the Earth, and all of the blue is oceans. Only 1/4 are the 7 continents. As you can see, all the oceans are connected, and you could go by boat all around the world. Here they are. There's the Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, Antarctic, and Indian Ocean. Let's continue. They are home to about 1 million species, from a real tiny one-celled organism to the world's largest animal, and you all learned about that, the blue whale. Fish, mammals, reptiles, and lots of other kinds of animals live in those oceans. Actually, the Earth is really just one big ocean, but it is divided into the 5 main areas that we call the 5 oceans. You can sail in a boat from one area to the other areas because they are all connected. The Pacific Ocean, it is the biggest and the deepest. It is bigger than all the land on Earth put together, and it holds almost half of the world's salt water. The Atlantic Ocean, that's the one that we live near. We swim in the Atlantic Ocean when we go to a beach. The Atlantic Ocean is the second biggest ocean. It is about half the size of the Pacific. The Indian Ocean is the 3rd largest ocean. The Antarctic or Southern Ocean surrounds Antarctica and the South Pole. The Arctic Ocean surrounds the North Pole. It is the smallest ocean. Remember when we learned about polar animals, the North Pole is in the Arctic, the South Pole is in the Antarctic, and some of the polar animals we learned about came from those areas. Last book, we were right off the coast here and went on our whale watch. This book is going to take place somewhere over near the Pacific in the aquarium. This is the Pacific Ocean here, and if this was a sphere, it goes all the way over near China, so it's big. This is the Indian Ocean right here. So there they are. I hope you get a better understanding now. Wow, this is going to be great, Wanda said. I can't believe there are millions of plants and animals in the ocean. Hey, Miss Frizzle, Ralphie said. We're studying sharks next in our ocean unit. Do you think they have a shark at the aquarium? Oh, yes, Ralphie. The aquarium has several types of sharks, Miss Frizzle said. Several types, Keisha said. I didn't know that there were more than one type of shark. Me neither, said Tim. I thought a shark was a shark. Oh, no, the Frizz said. There are hundreds of different kinds of sharks, and they are all very interesting. In fact, some of you may want to choose one kind of shark to write about in your reports. I know some of you will, because I know you're experts on them already. Here's a little thing that Tim wrote. Sharks, sharks, sharks. There are 368 known species of sharks. Sharks come in many sizes. A shark can be as small as your hand, about 7 inches. That's the smallest, and it's called a 7-inch spined pygmy shark. Or it can be bigger. It can be bigger than our school bus. That is about 50 feet long. and that is the called the whale shark. You figured it would be called the whale shark because whales are big. Most sharks are between 5 and 10 feet long. Here's an elephant, and there's a typical shark. Miss Frizzle, what is a shark anyway? Wanda asked. Are sharks related to whales and dolphins? Here are some facts from the desk of Miss Frizzle. Shark bits. A shark is a fish, but unlike other fish, sharks do not have any bones. I didn't know that. Their skeletons are made of a tough material called cartilage. It's the same stuff that we have in our noses and our ears. You can even pierce our noses and ears because it's not as hard as bone, but it's very tough. Like other fish, sharks have organs called gills. They don't have lungs. They use their gills to get oxygen from the water. Remember that mammals, including whales, have lungs and get oxygen through them. Sharks have 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits on the sides of their heads. And bony fishes, all the other kind, only have 1 gill slit. Sharks have many different body types, but most sharks are shaped like a torpedo. Their bodies are made to glide swiftly through the water. Most shark tails are longer on the top and shorter on the bottom. Here's the body of a typical shark. This is what they mean. It's a small picture by a torpedo. Can you see it? Good. Good question, Wanda the Frizz replied. Whales and dolphins are mammals, just like people, dogs, cats, bears, and lots of other animals. Sharks are fish, but they aren't exactly like all the other fish. You'll learn more about sharks when we get to the aquarium. To the bus! We all piled into the bus. We had a lot of wacky adventures in that bus, and even though Miss Frizzle had promised, I had a feeling that this wouldn't be an ordinary ride to the aquarium. Liz, our class lizard, sat up front with the Frizz as she turned on the ignition. Soon, we were on our way to the Pacific Ocean. Tomorrow, Chapter 2. Let's see what happens when they get to the aquarium. See you tomorrow.